welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast.
Kevin's eyes look insane, but he's got new hair. Virginia is a witch, and she farts in her chair. Jason is a spaz who's got an old man's ass. Welcome to the After the Show podcast.
All right, here we go. It is a Friday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Hello, y'all.
Hello.
See you guys.
Good to see you.
Uh-huh. I like that people are getting on to the KVJ Show YouTube page and subscribing. I see that we are now at 30,600, which you remember not long ago we were just going to do a big thing. You cutting your hair when we got to 30,000, and now here we are 600 more in. So appreciate everybody that is doing that. And if you can, do whatever you can to spread the word and get more people signed up, because that definitely does help us, and we love to see that growing.
It's really cool too. On the YouTube Shorts, you can see how many new subscribers you're getting per video. With every video, it says, "Oh, this video brought in 3 new subscribers."
Oh.
It's really cool.
Yeah, so do appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that hits like as well. That definitely does help us. So we're doing everything we can to try to grow these KVJ platforms to get the word out to as many people as possible, just so that we continue to have jobs.
I think people sometimes get confused, though. If they're in the chat room right now, these comments, they're awesome. But when the video uploads and it's populated onto YouTube, that's when those comments really help us out.
Yes, okay. Yeah, you're right. So anything you can do to interact with it, we do appreciate it. We did a raise your hand poll today, and 20% of show members have snooped through their partner's phone. That means 1 out of 5 of us. There's only one person here who has snooped through a partner's phone. Everybody was just like, oh my gosh, who on the show would do something like that? And they couldn't figure it out. And everybody's been guessing, and they thought maybe Denny's or Suits, probably Bird, maybe me. But no, the shocking thing, it's Virginia that raised her hand on that.
Snoop Dad is.
I've done it when it was necessary, and I found information that led to breakups.
Okay. All right. So justified.
Yeah. I mean, it's called self-preservation. If someone's doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and you investigate and you find those things,
Yep.
that is just research into making sure you don't get taken out as a punk.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference, too. If someone's really giving you some major red flags to where you're going, this motherfucker is definitely cheating on me, compared to someone who's just paranoid and doesn't know and is insecure and starts going through shit, to me, that's very wrong. If you're just paranoid because you're
trying
paranoid,
to find something. Yeah, you haven't given them a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a difference there. The other one we had, have you lied to a partner about where you were? 80%, 4 out of 5 raised their hand on that. I don't do it often. I don't know that I've really ever done it with the Queen, but the girl I was with before the Queen, I would lie all the time, because Virginia and I would be at Diamonds, the strip club, and I never would be like, she'd call me, oh yeah, just out, doing charity work. I was actually doing work with a girl named Charity, so it was, not too far-fetched. But yeah, I would lie all the time on that. Virginia, did you have any specific examples? Were you one that raised your hand?
Yeah, I mean, I have. I will. I do.
Okay.
I mean,
why? What is the biggest motivator for you doing that?
Well, maybe.
What is the situation typically?
Maybe not so much like lie, like I'm doing something deceptive, but maybe if I'm doing something that I don't want him to know, like, we're supposed to be on a diet and I'm in the drive-thru at McDonald's getting 20 nuggets, and then I'm going to eat them in my car and then hide the evidence. I've done that.
I'm so glad I'm not married. Diet together and they have to lie about man.
That's interesting. Huh.
I lied about how many drinks I've had. I lied about how late I stayed up the night before drinking.
Yeah. A lot of booze in there is the reason, I guess, huh?
It happens.
40% of us faked being sick to get out of work. Denny's was 1. I think Jbird was the
It
other.
was, I also lied to somebody too where I was.
Oh, you
at.
did? Okay, yeah. What was your motivation?
It was towards the end of. I knew it was fucking over.
Okay,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
She wanted to come over at my place, and she's like, "You're home right now." I'm like, "No," and I was home. I'm like, I am not at home. No.
Did they ever come over to try to? They didn't believe you, and they came over. Did that ever happen to you?
In my life, yes, that's happened. To
Where
me.
you said I wasn't home, they could show up
no.
at your house.
No, but I know she drove by and saw my car.
Oh,
He said, "Well, why is your car there?" I'm like, "Well, I didn't drive." It was awful. I was hiding out in my own house.
It's usually a good sign. I mean, hey, look, that was the end days of my relationship too. I think if you get to that point where you are lying to your partner about where you are, it's your relationship's likely. That's a very troubling sign.
Totally.
Looking
and I knew
back,
it.
we should have sped up the breakup.
Yeah, same,
Might as well.
Same. Yeah, the regrets I have of that era of my life. I should have just over. Let's get it done with. It's not happening.
Again, though, breaking up is really sucky for
It is.
anybody
It
involved. Unless you have that rare moment where we both go, we don't like each other, right? We're cool. All right, see you later.
Yeah, right. I was always terrible. It took me a while. Now I haven't. After that breakup, though, I realized just stop doing that. What do you do? You turn into somebody you don't want to be.
Rip
just
off,
let them
rip
go.
it off like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, you think that you're being nice because you're not breaking up with them, but you're actually doing the opposite. You're being a complete asshole. So just break up with them. Let them go. Let them go about their life. Okay, let me see another one. Have you ever? Okay, the fake being sick. That was you, Bird. You and Denny's, but. I don't know. Was it ever this job or was it
no.
previous jobs? Okay.
Fucking Admiral's Cove.
Yeah.
Oh, man, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been a time where I was hungover. Like, oh, yeah, I'm sick.
If you have to be working out on the golf course in the heat, ugh.
There is nothing worse than being hungover and doing that kind of stuff in the heat.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Another one we have for the raise your hand poll was lying about their qualifications on a resume. Only 1 out of 5 of us has, and that person was Jbird.
Yeah, it was for this job.
Oh my gosh.
And it was for the town that I lived in. It was Perta, Florida. I made that up because that was one of my karaoke names.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even think I was going to get the job. I wrote it there to be goofy.
Yeah.
And then I get the job, and then Kevin didn't realize that I was
That it was
lying.
fake.
And you kept introducing me as Jason from Perta, Florida. I'm going, oh my gosh, Sly's getting big now. What have I done? I had to tell Kevin that.
Didn't that come up where it was like calling him King Perta or something like that? I'm like, what the fuck is that?
It was my karaoke name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fake-
I'm like, what is it?
But it makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It was dumb. But the line got so big, and I didn't know how to say, because I didn't know you back then. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I tell this guy I was lying on the resume of where I'm from? And he kept on saying he's from Perth, Florida.
Yeah.
Shit.
Meanwhile, he's from Lake Park.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, your friends will say, big what? Well, maybe they know. Driven drunk before. 40% of us have. I was one of those people that had. A lot of my drunk driving was not long after I actually started driving. And, back where I grew up, I look back on it now, and it's like, wow, man. It was, I don't know if it's changed because I haven't lived there, admittedly, for 25 plus years, maybe 30 now. But that was something everybody did, and all the time. It wasn't even anything that was socially unacceptable. Driving drunk was just what you did. And, we didn't have I-95 and places like that. They were small town roads, and it's not justifying. In fact, I've had a couple friends, one of my buddies, treacherous roads. He was out, and there was kind of a party shack by the lake, and he was driving home, and it's windy roads, and he just drove right off the cliff and died.
Dog, that's the one thing I noticed in your hometown was holy windy roads.
Yes.
Up and down and over and out.
And we would like crazy. I remember that. I remember one high school party where they took all the keys and people were out in the field and they were drinking and whatever, and you weren't allowed to do it. And I'm like, man, this party sucks. And it was raining, and I'm like, people were just sitting around in ponchos around a bonfire. I'm like, I got to get out of here. And so I remember sneaking into the house and getting the keys and hauling ass out of there. And so that was just something that we did. In fact, I remember one time I got, when I was in college, I got pulled over for a DUI. We had gone from where I was at Athens, Ohio, and got pulled over on a country road. We were going to Dee's Diner. And I remember it was in my county, though. that I got pulled over, and things worked out. They labeled it wrong. I think I got a little bit of local justice because my dad was an attorney there, and they got me for reckless driving instead of the DUI. But
It's good to be connected.
yeah, but my parents, they took my stereo and all this stuff. I wound up losing about $6,000 worth of stereo equipment out of it because they were like, all right, well, you got lucky on the law, but you're going to pay us. And so that kind of slowed me down a bit on it. So I did. My attitudes, definitely massively changed. But it was just odd that I grew up in an area, and I don't know if it's a country thing. In fact, it's kind of odd. I do see, and there are some country songs where they're always talking about driving around with a beer in their lap and
No Morgan Wallen in them.
I don't know if he does that, but I think maybe
No,
there's a
sure.
Luke Bryan song. There's a couple songs where they reference that. I'm like, gosh, they're actually singing about driving around with an alcoholic beverage in their lap.
Yeah, I'm sure Morgan Wallen's ever driven drunk.
Yeah, so so there's some attitudes there, but yeah, it's a terrible thing. It gets away from you. So I was one of the two that raised their hands.
Yeah, I was the other one. I did when I was younger, and I definitely learned the hard way. I watched a person in front of me. We were leaving, and we were driving.
This is going to get depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I wasn't intoxicated at this time, but I knew the person 2 cars in front of me was, and we were all just taking the same road going back home after being out somewhere, and he hit a telephone pole and he didn't make it. And it was awful, and in that moment I was like, oh my gosh.
And there
It
is.
was crazy depressing.
Making that left down Depression Boulevard.
Yep.
It's real, bruh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. Other intoxicants here. Yesterday we were talking about the marijuana, and a couple of emails came in about that. One person who said, yeah, I am a heavy weed smoker, but I will tell you, I don't want to smell it everywhere I go. And that was one of the comments we had yesterday about, hey, I think we do need to have designated areas. I'm all cool with people being able to do it recreationally. But she said, I got kids, and if we go to the park, I don't want to smell weed. And if you go to New York, I got to tell you, it smells like weed everywhere. I don't think I've been to New York City since they legalized marijuana. Is that true? Does basically the Big Apple smell like the big weed bin?
I was just there last year at the tail end of last year. I didn't smell it everywhere, and I was
Okay.
all over.
I always
All
heard
right.
it smelled like piss out there.
Yeah, right. I'll take weed over piss. Yeah. And Jennifer sent this, that you can go get a 420 marijuana doctor online. In fact, they have Groupon deals. You can save you some money.
Well, they're really making it very easy.
Yeah, look, I think it's getting that way, and I'm cool with it. Whatever. I don't have a problem with it. Look, I think everything in the right amounts, but it just doesn't seem like it's been categorized.
Gotta watch out for that reefer madness.
I think it smells good. Like if I walk and I smell it, I don't think it's repulsive. It's so different from like a cigarette smoke. If I walk through cigarette smoke, I'm like, ugh, disgusted.
I know a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I'm that way. Weed, it doesn't
bother me.
Cigarettes, I'm that, and I used to smoke, and I can't even smell it now. I immediately get nauseous.
Cigarettes choke me out. I can feel it in the atmosphere.
Totally.
I can feel it in
I
my
can't be around
nose.
it. I can't be close to it.
It's tough for
Yeah.
me as well. I know a bunch of people who don't smoke weed that do like the smell of it.
I
there's-
love
there's
the
always-
smell of it.
There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like the smell, and I get it. It's a pungent smell.
Another thing we were talking about right at the tail end of the regular show, craziest thing that ever happened when you hooked up with somebody first time. Maybe you wind up in a weird situation, a weird place. I guess maybe I probably had those situations, come to think of it, especially back in my college days. Because, especially during the summer, you would have all the college students would go away, but I stayed there for radio. And a buddy of mine was in town. And he worked at the radio station. He was a poon hound. Oh, my gosh. He loved the poon. He just couldn't get enough of it.
I mean, everyone loves the poon, but there are some.
This guy just
that just love.
couldn't stop.
And
it.
women.
Can't
just,
stop, won't
just,
stop.
Just really just love. I mean, I love the poon too.
Yeah.
But to the point where some people, they just can't. They become monsters.
You're not going to throw your life away for it.
No way.
So this was an era where radio was king, and there's only one station. It was a top 40 station, and he was the guy. He was the night guy. And so there was no celebrities anywhere close to this part of the world. So he was the biggest thing you had. And so there was a locals club called Club 33. And man, it was rough. It was a lot like Roadhouse. If you've seen that, the original.
Ooh.
Okay.
Not that fancy Key West kind of bar. It was like the original Roadhouse kind of place. And we would go there, and he would always get behind the DJ table and make a big announcement that he was there. And oh my gosh, the girls would just flock. He would just, it was like Diddy was in the club.
He would intro himself.
Yes, he would.
Wow.
Yes, he would.
Such a move.
Yes, he would. And then he was just, it was just like fishing for puss. He was just reeling it in and just whatever he wanted, just kind. I didn't have the love of it. Look, I mean, hey, I like it, but I didn't have the, not to his level.
Did you get any leftover? A little spillover?
I did every now and then. I got some remnants.
You got the overflow.
Yeah, I got a little bit of overflow here and there. And from those, we would wind up in weird trailer parks and odd homes and situations that weren't desirable.
You were getting the top-notch poon because he was keeping that for himself, but he would let you have second and third tier poon.
But Virginia, top notch in this area at this time, it's not very good. I mean, honestly.
So what does that say about the second tier ladies?
A Miami one is a 10 in this town. I'm just telling you.
Boy.
That's about the grading scale of what we're talking about. So yeah, he had top tier, but you drop top tier into Miami and she's a 1. So that's what we were doing. I mean, we had girls that were dragging their leg behind them. I mean, there was just a lot of stuff. Limps. I mean, just a lot of weirdness going on here.
Okay.
Yeah, face tats, you name it.
Wow.
It was all going down.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had a lot of that. So a couple interesting stories here. One person had texted in. They said, yeah, I hooked up with a female, and when I went to her bathroom, she had a pile of poo-stained underwear on the floor.
What?
My gosh.
No.
A pile of it. She's looked at
That's not real.
So she soiled like every pair of panties and just chucked it in the corner.
I can't believe
and
that.
You just hit it.
That is fucking rough. Oh, man. Yeah, if you're going to hook up, make sure we take our dookie drawers and put them away.
That is so bad.
Just lined up, baby.
She wasn't expecting company.
No, I guess not.
And she probably forgot,
Yeah,
probably
right.
drinking or whatever. Oh, shit. My shit panties.
My pile of shit panties.
How horrified are you though the next day when you walk in the baby? Oh my God.
You're right, man. Oh, my gosh.
Or maybe you just go, well, won't see him again.
Yep, there it is. This is kind of a story, too. This person texts in. They said, yeah, I hooked up with this circus girl I found on Tinder about 10 years ago. She was part of a circus group that toured the country, and there was a circus in town. It was in that lot across the street from the Kennel Club.
Huh.
And she had, quote, her special ability, which was flexibility.
Oh.
She could bend her whole body back and have her head go through her legs. So we end up having this late night of flexible fun. It gets a little loud and we're making a little too much noise in the camp where all the circus folks stay.
The other people could hear her?
A bearded lady comes pounding on our trailer door all pissed, and the ringmaster comes in and throws me out of the camp and said if I show up there again, he's going to feed me to the tigers. So I never went back, and they kicked me out with only my boxers on. They kept my clothes, and all they let me have was my phone and keys and made me leave.
All right, another raise your hand poll. Raise your hand if you got a bone piece right now.
What a story.
What a story. What a story.
What a
Is
story.
that shit real?
Is that
I
real?
don't know. I
That
don't know. But I
feels-
remember that damn circus. I remember they did that.
Well, the circus always comes to town, but that feels a little bit like creative writing to me.
Chat GPT, create a
Yeah.
circus
know.
story to trick 3 dumb fucks.
I don't know. You never know these stories, but it's an entertaining story.
It is. No, I mean, I was there mentally. I could see. I see the bearded lady. I see. I see
all of it. All of it.
So I appreciate the ride you gave us.
Yeah. I appreciate the ride you gave her.
Yeah,
Apparently it was good because she was loud.
That's amazing.
Gosh, that's just, there's some stories you're envious of. That'd be a great one to have in the pocket.
Oh,
wouldn't
my
it?
gosh.
Yeah, that's a good story to have.
Top
right there.
that.
No, I don't know that you're going to. Virginia, would you still get a pool if you could?
Would I still get a pool in my backyard if I could?
Yeah.
I think I would.
Okay.
I really, I was in my yard last night actually looking at it, and I think I would put it in a different spot than I originally had wanted it, that they rejected several times. But yeah, I would love to have a pool.
I love looking at it.
You love
It's
looking
very
at it?
peaceful.
It is.
Looking
Yeah,
at
I
water,
agree.
looking at a fish tank. I don't know. It's just something about looking at a body of water like
Yeah.
that. It's very calming.
There's certain times of the day, because I have a table that looks right out there. The sun hits, and it's very just I don't know. There's a beauty about it.
You don't have enough room in your backyard for a pool, do you, Kev?
No, I don't.
It's very tight back there.
You can have one hell of a hot tub though.
We could if that was my thing, but it's already hot enough. Can you imagine right now it's 110 degrees outside? Hey, you want to come to the hot tub? What?
I don't mind going in the hot tub during the summertime.
I would get a hot tub and just never make it hot. I would just make it like a little mini pool.
I fucking hate your hot tub.
I see what you're saying. What I would like is, if you had like a hot tub type thing, I'd like to have a table in the middle that it'd almost be like you could sit around, play cards, have cocktails, things like that. And then you could control the water temperature.
Yes.
So if it's chilly, you can make it hot. If it's hot, you can make it cool.
Yes.
I would love that. That makes sense.
Bad idea to put a hot tub in a room in your house. Good idea or bad idea?
I think it's a bad idea. Didn't that go out in the 80s with cheap motels? Remember when you could rent a motel and the big thing was, oh, there's a hot tub in the middle of the room?
And I think you should get a massively huge satellite dish in your backyard.
Fuck you both. Record something on my VCR tonight?
Well, Scott sent an email and he said, Virginia, if you do want that pool, according to the new legislation you're talking about the HOAs and what they can and cannot do in the state of Florida after July 1st, it's likely you could get a pool. Now, he said if somebody else in the community has a private pool, then Virginia is allowed to install a pool provided it is built in accordance with building codes.
I think, isn't that the issue? Is that it's
Yeah,
not,
that's what it is.
It's not big enough?
No. It's absolutely big enough. And in the space between my house and my neighbor's house that we like, the neighbor that we like and we talked about it. We could put a pool there in the middle and it would be fine. It would be perfect. It wouldn't be close to even the golf course. And there are absolutely people in my neighborhood that have pools that live on the golf course like I do. What they've been telling me all along is, oh, no, those are grandfathered in because those were built when the community was built. There's no new construction of pools allowed. That is what they've been telling me. But that is selective enforcement. And I did look into it, and I was thinking about suing them, but it's just such a fucking to-do.
I know, but you love,
I got enough fights going on.
as I say, you love to fight, hold on to things. So this
And,
would be good.
now that Rocco is older, maybe it's a fight I would want to take on. Back when I lost the fight and I was sad and I wanted a pool, this was like 5-6 years ago. I thought maybe it might be like a sign from above that I shouldn't have a pool because Rocco was going to drown in it or something. And so I just accepted it and I moved on because he was little at the time. But now he's older. Now he is the best swimmer in our family. And I don't have that same fear. So is this guy saying I should fight the fight for the pool?
Well, he's saying there's 3 conditions. One, if somebody else in the community has a private pool, then you're allowed to install it, provided it's built accordance with the building codes. He said you also have to make sure there's nothing in the covenants, restrictions, and the bylaws of the association that prohibits the installation of a private swimming pool. And he said the third thing is the association must prove a legitimate existing rule or covenant on why the pool cannot be installed. They just can't say no because. So if they don't have it in their covenants and their bylaws about the pool, then you are going to be able to get it after July 1st. There's nothing they can do about it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
I mean, it was such an intense fight last time, and I heard off the record, it's all about the golfers. You know, the golf course that I live on is called Riverbend, and the Riverbend golfers don't want new construction on their golf course. So a lot of them live in our community, but some of them live in Riverbend. So there's enough of them that they were just like, no new construction on the golf course. Anybody who tries to do that, we shut it down and we don't let it happen.
That doesn't sound like a bylaw thing. That sounds like somebody's personal preference, and it sounds like this new legislation in Florida would squash that in a heartbeat.
Oh,
they wouldn't contest it because they know they'd lose. And not to mention, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to challenge HOAs, so they're going to be like, just let it go, because they don't want to get taken into court themselves and get their ass kicked.
You might be getting a pool.
Yeah.
I would love to do this, and I absolutely still believe in the mission.
Believe in the fight. Kick up this fight. Kick up this fight.
Yeah, I just got to get the bylaws and look at it and make sure it's not already
Double-check
in
that.
there. But couldn't they just add it to the bylaws now that they're having to change everything coming up in July?
I think you have to declare all that, has to be signed off, and it has to also be stamped as well as accordance to a time. Now, that would be interesting if HOAs start adding a bunch of stuff to their bylaws before July 1st to try to get things like this grandfathered in.
That sounds dicky and unlikable, so they're definitely going to be doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I need to get an attorney, somebody who's really good at this kind of stuff, specifically an HOA attorney.
Well,
And those are expensive, but I mean,
I'm sort of a lawyer these days. I have an update on that. The judge, I believe, has a date, or a date for me to go into court. They were working on a day for me to go in there.
oh, when you were going to go play attorney.
I'm gonna be going into a courtroom
Okay.
in a suit. And just, I don't know, do some lawyer jargon and talking.
I can't wait to see just how this is going to go.
I still don't know what
I
this is.
can't believe any legitimate court
I'm excited.
would allow this
wow.
sort of monkey behavior.
Oh, it's going to be something to watch.
I'm definitely gonna have a couple of drinks.
All right, so you want to represent me?
I would like to represent you. Is what I'm saying. I'd like to throw my hat in the ring and represent you.
We're going to fight my HOA together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love it if somehow I did have to defend you in front of a board. I would love that. And they had to listen to what I had to
And
say.
you just keep yelling objection.
Objection, Your Honor. I said objection.
It's going to be amazing. Vicky said you had mentioned that Palm Beach County is no longer blue. Just an FYI, Miami-Dade and Palm Beach County voted red in 2022, so only Broward is Democrat.
Oh.
Yeah, they did for president, I believe, at least Miami-Dade did, and it's changed a bit. I will tell you, when you talk about city government in Palm Beach, the mayor is a Democrat. I have never lived here where there's been anything but a Democrat mayor. In Fort Lauderdale, Dean is also a Democrat. And so a lot of the local politics are run by Democrats in the two counties. Yeah, I think Miami-Dade, though, I think they do have a Republican. I think Suarez might be. So, yeah, they are turning a little bit more Republican. So, yeah, the whole state it has always been Republican, but it's switching a lot in South Florida as well.
Glad you brought up politics.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even understand what you're saying, so
Yeah.
you might as well be talking Chinese.
I'm just tipping the cap. You're right. Exactly. Say it. They got me on it. They got me a little bit.
What color is that cap, Kev? Red or blue? I'm tipping my cap.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah. What color is the cap?
Kevin's like, what?
Yeah, I know. Veronica with an interesting claim that I have a friend that used to work at Trump Tower in the 90s, part of the maintenance crew, polishing the floors. He, for context, is Puerto Rican. Other workers are Central American. Claims he has a story where Trump used a Hispanic slur against him back in the day. Now, you wouldn't be able to necessarily prove that. He said he would talk about it, but there's somebody else that claims they have from the Apprentice days Trump using the N-word on tape, and that has not come out yet. And I would imagine if somebody had that with enough people that do not like that man, that they would dig that up and unleash that. So, yeah.
Well, anybody can say they have anything.
Right, exactly.
Until you
Yeah.
produce
Yeah.
it is when you really have to take something like that seriously.
Oh, I got a video of the Kevin Ralston 69ing a horse.
Wow.
I will pay.
Wow.
I got it.
That, I had to like think about how I would even. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anybody can
Horses
say,
in.
Anybody can say anything, right?
Let's do that video.
The horse said you could release it.
Denise want to know, any chance you guys would bring back the KVJ Hate Song? Yeah, I think we would. There are two reasons why it went away. One was because a lot of the insults are kind of the same. So, people get me on my crazy eyes, and, we're all kind of getting on the same stuff. And I felt like it was kind of the same song. It got to be a little repetitive. So that was one reason why we parked it for a while. And the other thing, too, we were in that era of so much toxicity and negativity. It was pandemic, it was politics, it was all that stuff. And so I just thought we don't need to contribute more to that. And so I said it didn't. We started it in an era where you could have digs at people, and we like self-deprecating stuff, even about us. But I just thought, let's.
Oh, you're right. No, I even saw people in our audience start to use it against us a little bit and would write kind of, oh, just kidding, you fucking loser, asshole, fuck face, love ya. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Hate song? No, that's just very hateful.
Yeah.
Like there's no comedy there.
Right. When there's something funny, I love insult comedy. I love cutting stuff.
Of
My
course.
family's very much that way. We know it's done in love, and when it is, it's funny. I love roast comedy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
But
So-
there is a difference between having some kind of a good
gotta be-
punchline or
yeah.
and then you're just being
Right,
a
just
dick.
mean. Yeah, and it took a weird slant there. So yeah, I would still say unfortunately, I think the environment still. Let's get through this presidential election, and then maybe.
Oh, you think there might be some issues?
Yeah, again, it's so dang unfortunate. I really hate it because I really do love politics. I love talking about
know
it.
you
People
do.
just can't have a discussion about it without getting super pissed and getting all upset. So people get too bent on it still.
There are people that can talk about it, but I think as soon as you make it a public forum, forget
Yeah,
about it.
it does.
It's so matters of the heart kind of stuff. People really get so.
Yeah.
I've seen people I care about get lost
Right.
in the whole fucking storyline.
I got a few friends that I can have conversations with, and it's nice because they're not on an agenda. They're just saying, okay, here's a matter of fact what's going on, and I enjoy the conversations.
And the knock people have towards us is, you guys don't care about politics. It's not that we don't care about politics. There's just a point where you realize there's nothing you can say or do to bring people together.
I don't want to fight about
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah.
and it feels like every conversation about politics turns into a fight about politics. And I mean, I'm not interested in that.
Well, we know that we know it's important. We understand
Absolutely.
that, but we
Yeah.
also understand there's just some things that you're gonna just beat your head against the wall.
Yeah, it's an odd topic that people, that and religion are two things where people really want to prove how right they are, and it's very agenda based, and it's tough to have conversations on those two topics. And I love both topics, but 95% of the population you can't talk to either one of those things about.
I would argue that religion is easier to talk about these days than politics.
Yeah, maybe.
Here.
Maybe. Yeah, it
I can only
depends.
speak on, I'm not saying it can't get heated. I'm not saying it can't turn on you, but I just feel like even politics is so next
is.
level.
Yeah, you're right.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I talk religion all the time to people, and I
Yeah.
just don't see the same kind of venom.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I don't think it's
Yeah.
always been that way. I think it
I don't
probably
think
has changed. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's crazy the vitriol around politics these days. But let me see. Jeremy said, "Why did Jbird's mom hate Kevin so much?"
Because we made it to.
it was a manipulated situation.
Kevin had done some stunts when I first got on the show, like some pranks.
Yeah, it was a bit we did called Believe It or Not, and it started because we had a comedian, Michael Winslow, that was in Police Academy movies, and he did a lot of sound effects with his mouth, and he called your mom. And we had this elaborate story about you having chickens in your car and you got arrested. And he's doing all the effects of the chickens and the police and everything else. And it was just a hysterical, theatrical thing. And so we said, okay, well, she bought that. So would she buy this ridiculous scenario? And then we just kept calling, and we were going to do it but it was one thing after another. I remember it was, she made a donation for a PA system for the school for the blind.
Well,
it was a sound system for the school for the deaf.
Oh, is that okay? That's right.
And she didn't make the donation.
We were trying to get her to make one.
Well, she found that to go back to the Michael Winslow prank.
Yeah.
She found out that she found out it was a joke and it was a prank, and she did not like that.
Right.
And then you had to kind of.
We had one after another.
Her home was built on an Indian reservation, and she had to move.
Yes, that's right. We were coming to pick her up. We had the one where the circus rats. There was a train of circus rats because she hated rodents.
And I get why, Mom.
Yeah, so we had a lot of running things.
But I honestly, she didn't hate you. She really didn't.
Yeah, well, and then we'd try something good would happen, and I even sent that peace offering some donuts over there. I think was it you, Virginia, delivered them and put them on the ground.
I did. I delivered them to the doorstep, and then ants got all over them, and then she thought that was a prank.
She thought that was an insult, saying, "Okay, yeah, you'd send me my favorite food and then cover them in ants."
Yeah, that was
not on purpose.
I remember that, and I swear that was a kind gesture. Yeah, whatever, Kevin.
And then it got to the point where anything that would happen bad, she thought I had a hand in. I remember I was at my family reunion in Tennessee, and the dog went missing, and she thought that I sent a fat kid, and I feel bad for whoever it was. She thought I sent a fat kid over there to. What, return the dog?
There was a chubby kid in our neighborhood who was either looking for a dog or trying to get. There was something with a kid and a dog that knocked on the door, and it had nothing to do with us. And she thought that kid.
It was a prank, yeah. She thought I'd sent, and she was calling him a fat kid. I remember that.
Wasn't very PC, Ma.
Yeah, and so that was it. It was a lot of the pranks. And,
yeah, but she did not. She didn't hate you.
Yeah, it was just strong dislike.
Strong dislike.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what it was. Got a nice positive shout out here to Alfonso. He said our local company is called Happy Dingoes, a pet wellness company, and we won first place at the biggest pet expo in the U.S. called Global. In the dog category, we designed our award-winning slow feeder bowls at our kitchen table while beating out all these million-dollar companies and over 1,000 other contestants. The whole company is just me and my wife, and we started at the end of November last year, and that was our first expo ever. We're so grateful for the support of our families and customers. Live out your dreams always, South Florida and the KVJ Show for life. Fonzo and Natea, Happy Dingoes. There they are with their award. Congratulations. That's so cool.
That is
awesome.
cool.
Love to hear that.
They're
kind of
so
stuff.
sweet. They're always sending us DMs, and they're very active on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
What does
Very
that
cool.
mean? Loco Coco Interactive Slow Feeder Bowl.
Probably what it is, my guess is, so you don't have to think about, because as it is right now, my wife with my daughter's dogs at the house, she feeds them at like 7 o'clock. So she comes home, she has to, now it's something that's like, I got to go home, I got to feed the dogs. But if you had something like that, maybe it's a timed out thing. It feeds at intervals. I know they've had that for cats. It puts food out. So maybe it's something like that. I don't know. Without an explanation, I can only guess.
Good for them, though. I'm looking at their website. It looks like they got a lot of products.
Alfonso said it's so a dog can eat at a slower pace. He's in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, that makes sense because we have 2 dogs. Well, my daughter's 2 dogs. They're both Frenchies, but one of them, he's not that big on food. He'll eat, but to survive. But the other one, complete fat ass. Just he's all the time. That's all he does is think about food. And he'll wolf down his food, and then he goes to the other dog's food, and the food is gone, but he's trying to eat the bowl because he can still smell food on it.
Oh, that's funny.
His whole life is he's obsessed with food. And
you need to get that dog the interactive slow feeder bowl.
I will let my daughter know because you're right. He needs to slow down. He wolfs it down so fast.
That's good. That's a healthy dog right there. The worst is when your dog eats and all of a sudden your dog's got no appetite, and that's when you start to get worried.
Oh, yes.
If your dog is a normal dog that loves to eat and it doesn't eat, you start thinking, oh, shit.
It means your dog's probably sick and is about to die.
Yeah.
Are you trying to take my act?
Miss you, Mom. Miss you, Chewy. Miss you, Aunt Ann. Think about you every day. Going down fucking memory lane here.
Yeah. Good times.
Weekend, woohoo!
Yeah.
You should do that trend on TikTok, rating things my family did. It's a dark trend on TikTok right now. And like if your parents passed away, you give them a 0 out of 10 for dying.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty dark, but also, you know, it's making something that's horrible into something that's funny and that you can get light about it, which I think we should do. Otherwise, we're in the corner crying.
Woohoo! Weekend, how my family's dead? Let's party, guys.
All right. There you go. Okay, well, thank you for all the emails, and congratulations to all you out there for your wins this week. Always send them to us, mail at kvjshow.com. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday. Goodbye.